Hello, happiest of days to each of you folks. I hope you guys are having just an absolutely amazingly awesome day. And today we're taking a look at a short story by Brian Lumley. It's based on H.P. Lovecraft, Cthulhu Mythos, that he read and loved so much. It's called The Hymn. It's about 34 pages long. It's here in my collection, Haggopian and Other Stories. But it's published by Solaris. I'll link it to you in the in the description below. This was published in November 2006 as the third volume in an issue of an H.P. Lovecraft magazine of horror that was all about Brian Lumley and that sort of a thing too. So basically what's happening here in the hymn and that sort of a thing. So this is Brian Lumley was a big fan of Lovecraft and his Cthulhu Mythos growing up. And that sort of a thing too. So Lovecraft created the Cthulhu Mythos back in the pulp era when he was living up until he died in 1937. And that sort of a thing too. I've actually read a 3-volume collection of it, and that sort of a thing too, of all of his stuff that he wrote solo. And then, the first was his horror stuff early on. The second one was his Dreamlands that was more inspired by Dunsany in the middle era, and then the third era was all of his Cthulhu Mythos, friend. And so his Cthulhu Mythos is a shared universe with a cosmic horror style. It wasn't the first, but he definitely put that on the map in a big way, right? All up and down the blocks for everybody. So basically what's happening, and then he actually, and with things like Cthulhu, or into Arkham, University, the Necronomicon, right, all that stuff, having that shared universe and keeping it as creepy as possible. And then he would bring in other pivotal works like Clark Ashton Smith's Pythagoras and then interpret it, and he would encourage other people to do that too. And he had a huge number of co-writers and colleagues like Robert E. Howard, who created Conan too. So he had a huge number of people, and then when he died in 1937, he handed that off to his August Derleth. Founded a Arkham House publishing with some other folks too, like Donald Wandre, and that sort of a thing too. And then he put that together in the second and third generations, right? And this one, a lot of me was reading, and that sort of a thing too. And as a result, he actually wrote like a mini short story. Sorry, I just totally threw the book. I'll go ahead and leave it on the ground. I think it's funny. It's funny. Anyway, so he wrote tons of short stories that are collected, and this Haggopian collection for folks. And then he moved on early on in his career when August Derleth, or for other folks too. And then later on in his career, he started moved to novels that were like the Necroscope series, that has a lot of fans right up to this day. For you folks. And so basically this was written as a celebration of his career, and it's written in 2006, right, as a short story by Brian Lumley, a big guy on the map. When I was reading some, after I read those those 3-volume collections by Lovecraft, I read a 2-novel collection of all of his co-writes or co-writes like The Mound. And then after that, I knocked out all the Cthulhu Mythos stuff. And that was like 96, 97, 98 that was being published in. All the collections. And he actually had a few of them there too. So, but I thought it'd be fun for me to just knock out the entire thing. And that book, Haggopian, is like $8. You're not going to spend that much of your time. And I'd like to knock out some of the Cthulhu Mythos stuff as we approach October. So I thought it'd be fun for me to knock it out for you folks right around here, right? And so basically what's happening here in the hymn is that the hymn has something that is called the Mythos Investigation Institute. Something like that. I don't remember. I got the initials right. But you get the idea. So basically it's something that has a number of experts on a variety of different fields of study. And so they are studying something that they found. And that's sort of the thing too, and we'll actually find out how it was found too early on. And so this is an object in the Cthulhu Mythos, right? And it's gone. They found it in the desert. That was after, I think it's World War II. After some of those wars were happening over there in the Arabian Peninsula, and they track from the Necronomicon and other notes too. They track down 5 people that were having some guns and starstones to protect it, and that sort of a thing too. So they killed those folks with soldiers, and then they bring back this stone that they were protecting. And it's kind of like, it's probably wrong. It's might be an orb, a globe might be a better name, like a magic globe or something like that might be a better name for. But you get the idea. But they bring them back, and now they're going to study and figure out what's happening. So they bring in a couple of guinea pigs that they test, and they're actually psychic, and they actually expose them to make sure that they actually were subjected to it, and they are. And so now they're in this study locked behind stuff and being studied by the Institute, right? And so that's kind of the setup for the hymn. I like it. I think it's fun things. I definitely think it's a good celebration of Brian Lumley's work. And that sort of a thing you can definitely feel. Now, it's because it's 34 pages long. It does have a lot of description. Actually, it doesn't have that much. There are some Cthulhu Mythos cards. They actually, in the summary of them, they actually have some redacted things. So you'll have somebody mention a character like the Necronomicon or Cthulhu, and they'll just be lined up. You'll see C or M or A for Abdul. Hazard who wrote it. So I get to, or the Shining Trapezian. So there are the occasional references here, and dear to Cthulhu Mythos elements. Actually, not that many once you start and get into the deeper part of this and figure out what's happening. For you folks, I think the ending's good and that sort of thing too. And so I think it's a good ending send off. So I'm between an 8 and a 9, so I give it an 8.5. For you folks, it's nice. I like it lots. I think it's fun, and the ending's good too, but there's a little too much description in the 34 pages and that sort of thing. It took me about I'd say it's probably about an hour and a half almost for me to knock it out a couple of nights ago. So it wasn't because of that. It can feel a little lost in the weeds at times, if that makes sense. But it's fine. I like it lots. 8.5, I think it's fair. For you folks, and that is The Hymn by Brian Lumley from 2006. Luckily, I remember all this stuff a lot in my book. That sort of thing, too. All right. But have you read? And if so, let me know what your thoughts are to have to sort of engage you with it further, or whatever your thoughts are. No issues here. All up and down the blocks for you folks. Now, remember, I'm not a trained critic. I did study English in college, literature, none of that stuff, right? I'm just a fan like you are. So your opinion really is as valid as mine is. Now, please, pretty sure to keep it spoiler free. Just said it, right? All right, now, so just let me know what your thoughts are too. And then also, as you can tell, I also try to do 3 of these older reviews a week of older things, and down in the horror, science fiction, and fantasy too. So you can check out those things too. I think you like lots. You like this too. And then also, and you can also do other reviews. I do tabletop of RPGs or war games on Monday. I do older video games, and I also do older movie reels right now, sort of thing too. So you can check out those other things too. And hopefully some of those things will actually sound like a cup of tea, right? If not, no pressure. I'm not going to lose any. But if they do, then please do all the YouTube stuff too, like hit the like button, subscribe button, all that stuff too. Right, all up and down the block for you folks. And then I just want, hopefully you'll find something in there you'll enjoy. As you can tell, it's the passion of this channel to find these old things for. It's even where its name comes from too, which is crazy. It's the worst thing about new books. It's a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, says that the worst thing about new books was that they kept us from reading the old stuff. Not that new stuff is bad by default, but you get the idea. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, so let's check out those giants, like Brian Lumley, like August Derleth, like Clark Ashton Smith, R. Robert Howard, and some guy named Lovecraft too. Right? I think you'll check it out lots. Brittany, now, well, thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and just investing, right? And even watching my videos, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, right? And we're even bold in so many different directions too. So for you, spend this time with me is very humble, and I appreciate that so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.